Well, hey there. We've met before, right? My name is Hickory. Hickory Nut. Good to see you again. I've just been lying around and waiting for a crowd. Boy, there are a lot of you guys. It's like a whole jar full. You probably came back for another story. I'm always good for a story. I've been around this town for a long time. Been all over, actually, to the bottom of the bowl and back to the top again. I've been salted and I've been sugared, but one of my favorite memories takes us all the way to the city of Jerusalem. I had been minding my own business, chillaxing on my tree, when all of a sudden I found myself being taken on my very first adventure of my entire life. I didn't know where I was headed, but I knew something important was happening. The Israelites, God's people, were once slaves in the country of Egypt. God rescued them and kept them from harm, and so the Israelites always remember that time through the feast of the Passover. So, I travel all the way to Jerusalem and somehow find myself falling onto the steps of the temple. Talk about roadside service. As I enjoyed people watching on the steps, I started to notice a crowd gathering. They were all speaking about God's Word, the Scriptures. It looked like there were plenty of older men, scribes, teachers, rabbis. These were the people who studied the Scriptures all day long for a living. I mean, they really knew their stuff. Soon, though, I began to hear a younger voice above the crowd. It was a boy who looked to be about 12 years old. He was teaching all the older men. Everyone seemed to be amazed at how much he knew about the Scriptures. He could even answer the hard questions people were asking him. It went on like this for a while until all of a sudden this mom and dad run straight up to the temple all out of breath. I could tell they were the parents of this boy. And it turns out the boy's name was Jesus. This was the same Jesus that had been born in Bethlehem years ago. This boy was the same Jesus whose birth had been announced by the angels to the shepherds. That Jesus was now teaching all the church leaders. Turns out his family had been in Jerusalem for the Passover. His mom, Mary, and his dad, Joseph, had actually left the city 3 days ago. They thought Jesus was traveling with his cousins and other family members, but it turns out he just stayed at the temple the whole time. As you can imagine, Mom and Dad went a little nuts when they found out Jesus was missing. They thought they had lost him. They came all the way back to Jerusalem. His mom ran up to the temple and said, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." Here's the thing. Jesus wasn't actually staying at the temple to be disobedient to his parents. He wasn't trying to hide or get away with anything. In fact, I remember watching as Jesus looked at his mom and dad with love in his eyes and said, "Why were you searching for me? Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" I was confused because his dad didn't live in the temple. I could tell he wasn't a priest. But then I remembered, Jesus is God's son. The Father he's talking about is God the Father. Most kids would have been running around and playing with their cousins and friends, but Jesus knew that he wanted to learn more about the Scriptures and share what he'd learned with others. Everyone was pretty much cleared out after that, but I still can't believe that I got to see Jesus as he was growing up. Little did I know that it wouldn't be the last time I would see him either. See you nutty kids later.